So, last Caleb and Sophia videos we covered, if you remember, they did a video called Jehovah Will Help You Be Bold. That was lesson 13. That video was all about Jehovah's Witnesses trying to convince kids to face public mockery and ridicule to spread their propaganda. I think Lloyd Evans from the John Cedars channel calls it persecution porn. The next set of Caleb and Sophia videos we have is about commenting at the meetings. So I figured this would be a good time to talk about the Watchtower and Awake magazines, their history, and what they've turned into. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, let me give you guys a little context on this. The next one is called Prepare Your Comment. For people who've never been involved with Jehovah's Witnesses, here's what a comment is. Jehovah's Witnesses have been putting out their magazines called The Watchtower and Awake for decades. Charles Taze Russell, the founder, published a magazine around the time he first started the religion, in the 1870s. It didn't go by the name of the Watchtower at the time. It went by Zion's Watchtower and Herald of Christ's Presence. It's basically the governing body's method of disseminating information to the members. So Jehovah's Witnesses have 3 assemblies per year. They have the one-day assembly on Sunday. It's usually pretty small comparatively. Some areas might see around 1,000 people. The 2-day assembly is a little bit bigger. It might be around 3,000 people. And then they have the 3-day assembly, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I've been to assemblies with over 10,000 people before. That's basically every Jehovah's Witness in the tri-state area. And at these assemblies, every year, they release new books. These new books usually contain new or updated doctrine. As I've mentioned a few times, they're releasing the book called Pure Worship of Jehovah at this year's assembly, and I'm reading through the entire book on the podcast. From my understanding, they actually have a good number of doctrinal changes in this book. Since they had that avenue of spreading information and changing doctrine, they would normally reserve the Watchtower magazine for solidifying and clarifying current beliefs. I was just looking for Watchtowers from 2007 to give some examples of what types of articles you'll find. But interestingly enough, they completely removed them from the website pre-2008. In fact, some of the literature they've deprecated is now considered apostate material, which I find hilarious. They marked their own literature as apostate material, and the reason for that is because they've said some really stupid stuff in it that they didn't want thrown in their face. If you're caught with some of the literature from certain time periods, which they've deemed apostate material, you'll be put on trial for apostasy. Anyways, here are some example articles from the Watchtower in 2008. Things like early Christians in the Greek world. Do Jehovah's Witnesses accept the Old Testament? And Jesus, the perfect model to follow. General, super religious stuff that solidifies their positions. The Awake is a little bit different. Typically, the Awake would be written to appeal more to the public, so it would have articles about science that didn't conflict with their beliefs, or science that did conflict with their beliefs, and they just explain why it was wrong and they were right. But back when I was knocking on doors, they'd pass the Watchtower and Awake out to people at the door. Usually I'd try to find an article from the Awake to talk about for 30 seconds, because they were more eye-catching. Anyways, it was just more public-facing generally. But one issue of the Awake, July 2009, is of particular interest to lots of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. It's still on their website, in fact. Looking through some of the articles in that magazine, they include The Lazy Life of a Sloth, or Depression, How to Treat It, or Driving, How Can You Keep It Safe? Pretty regular articles, right? Then there's Is It Wrong to Change Your Religion? That one caught some people's eyes. The article was talking about the social pressure that people experience when converting into Jehovah's Witnesses. They're told it's a cult and that it's toxic and that they shouldn't join. For obvious reasons, because it's a toxic cult. But then they said this in the article: no one should be forced to worship in any way that he finds unacceptable or be made to choose between his beliefs and his family. That is one of the most hypocritical statements that they have ever made. Or maybe it's not. Maybe they've made more hypocritical statements. It's just that this one lacks any semblance of self-awareness. The writer completely forgot that that's exactly what Jehovah's Witnesses do to people. And then the editors completely forgot that that's exactly what Jehovah's Witnesses do to people. And then the governing body completely forgot that that's what Jehovah's Witnesses do to people. Literally nobody along the line caught it and was like, whoa, wait a minute, guys. That's literally exactly what we do. We can't tell them that people shouldn't be made to choose between his beliefs and his family because we don't actually believe that. I brought that one article up to my mom and she said they weren't talking about leaving Jehovah's Witnesses. They were talking about people converting from Baptist to Jehovah's Jehovah's Witness? And I said, well, yeah, obviously. But doesn't it apply to Jehovah's Witnesses too? Why do they get to force people to stay in but nobody else does? And she said, because we have the truth. And that's the heart of the issue right there. They think they have the truth, and that means they're justified in doing anything to accomplish their goals. Damn the consequences. Damn the people's faces they have to step on to get there. Damn the lives they have to ruin. The governing body has the truth, and they'll do literally anything to accomplish their goals. It doesn't matter how wrong it seems from the outside. On the inside, we know it's right. That's the attitude they carry in the religion. So up until 2007, Jehovah's Witnesses were passing out the Watchtower and Awake to the public, and they'd get their doctrine and ideas from the books that were passed out once or twice a year. In 2007, they switched it up. They split the Watchtower into two parts, the study edition and the public edition. Now, they've always studied the Watchtower on Sundays. They'd have a guy at the podium and another guy in a chair on stage with a microphone, and the guy in the chair would read the paragraph from the Watchtower. Then the guy at the podium would ask the accompanying question, and the congregation would raise their hands to answer. There would be a couple people carrying microphones down each aisle. Only males in good standing in the congregation are allowed to handle the microphones or sound equipment. It's called a privilege, quote unquote. Interesting how they twist things around the way they do. Volunteering your time and energy to do things for an organization, it's a privilege, right? You aren't doing them a favor, they're doing you a favor. And if you get in trouble, you lose the right to do that. There's a never-ending stream of people ready to take your place, so you have to work harder and harder to earn the trust of the elders and the ministerial servants, and the organization overall. Anyways, they always had a non-public avenue of communication with their members through the books they release at assemblies. But since they split the Watchtower into the study edition and the public edition, they have an avenue that makes communication a lot easier, faster, and more fluid. And when a cult creates a frequent method of communication with their entire member base that's mostly safe from the public eye, or could be completely safe from the public eye if it needed to be, you're going down the wrong road. As I mentioned before, Russia banned Jehovah's Witnesses specifically because they're an extremist organization. They banned the Watchtower and Awake because they said it was extremist propaganda. And they're correct. They are an extremist group. It is extremist propaganda. I don't think they were right to ban them, but that's a story for another day. Jehovah's Witnesses are supposed to study their magazines ahead of time, read the paragraphs and the questions, and underline the answers, which can be found in the paragraphs. Now let's take a look at this Caleb and Sophia video on commenting.
Okay, everybody, let's get ready for the meeting.
I really want to comment. Me too.
Okay, what do you want to say?
I don't know, Dad.
Well, you could just say anything that comes to mind. Or you can prepare. Which do you prefer? This one? Or that one?
I like that.
Of course. Your mother loves you. So she puts the work into making you something delicious. Same with you. Because you love Jehovah, you want to give him the best. This is why you must prepare your comment.
So here they're trying to draw an analogy about love and preparing for things. The mom loves the kids, so she prepares food. You love Jehovah, so you prepare a comment. Don't really think the analogy fits, but whatever. They're just telling kids they should be reading the Watchtower and underlining the answers ahead of time. Okay, let's continue.
But how?
First, you must use the good ingredients. Let's prepare a short comment. Step 1. What is the question? Step 2. Find the answer in the paragraph. Step 3. Make some notes. Step 4. Practice. Now you are prepared. And Sophia, you can comment in your own words.
But what if they don't call on me, Dad?
We will prepare 2 or 3 answers, just in case.
What if he doesn't call me for any of them? I quit.
No, don't quit. Everyone knows you tried your best. You, the brothers, and Jehovah. Ah, something smells good. You ready for dinner?
That's the entire video. Just good lessons for kids. Yeah, good lessons for kids. Nothing more, of course. This is another avenue through which Jehovah's Witnesses are molding their members to be what they want them to be. Start young and it'll stay with them for life. I don't know how they can live with themselves. As I said before, it doesn't matter what they have to do to accomplish their goals. Lie, cheat, twist facts, whatever. The point is that they accomplish their goals. And the reason why it's okay for them to do it, but they completely obliterate other religions for doing the same thing, is because they have the truth. The other religions don't. That means they're justified in taking any action necessary to further the goals of the Watchtower Society. And if you think I'm exaggerating on that, then look up the term theocratic warfare. That's the term that Jehovah's Witnesses use to refer to that strategy. Lie, cheat, manipulate, do whatever it takes to win, as long as it's in service to Jehovah. That's theocratic warfare. Anyways, that's all I've got for you. If you like the work I do and want me to continue doing it, consider supporting me on Patreon. I just quit my job a few months ago to become a full-time activist against the Watchtower Society, the Latter-day Saints Church, and any other extremist group out there. I will not let them get away with their abuses as long as there's air in my lungs. I appreciate everything you guys do to feed mine and Kylie's pot pie and pizza roll habit while I do it. Also check me out on social media. All links are in the description as always. Thanks for watching, guys.